I'm Maria Lupita, but what's most important is who is here with us. Uh, I every time I listen to this woman, I mean, it even makes me want to cry. And I'm not just saying that's because I have the privilege of having her here, but she does so much for not just her family, for not just her accounting business, not for just her strategy business, but she does so much for the entire world. And not only does she educate us about how to help other people, but she educates us about, well, I'll let her tell you about that. But Courtney Epps is not only a published author, not only does she speak on the stages with Tony Robbins, I mean, some of the greatest, but also has spoken just recently at a TED Talk. I mean, her I could go on and on about her, but I know that she has so much information to share with you. And for those of us who are in network marketing or home-based businesses, this is for you. And for those of you who are not already in one of our network marketing businesses, this is for you as well, because you're going to gain so much information by listening to this incredible expert. So with that, me going on and on and on, Courtney, I just want to thank you so much for taking time. I know that you're literally minute to minute, and God has blessed you so much. I can't thank you enough for being here, and I'll just pass it over to you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I enjoy, obviously the whole deal is to help people teach more how to save more so they can have more, live more, and give more. I mean, that's literally the true meaning of life. So I'm thankful you asked me to be on here today, Maria. Thank you so much.
So would you mind sharing a little bit about your background? Why is it, how is it that, I mean, what it is that you do? I know that you're not just an accountant, you're not just someone that is passionate about helping children, but you're also a tax strategist. Can you tell us a little bit about your story, and then a little bit about what you do?
Yeah, so I've been an accountant for 19 years. I consider myself to be a tax strategist, which is my focus is finding money, not preparing taxes. And I've built an organization. We have over 20 employees now, and we're rapidly growing. We've grown about 4,000% in the last 3 years. So it's been super crazy. But my whole purpose, right, is helping people find more money, because it's about first and foremost healing people financially so that they can heal spiritually, mentally, and physically. And it's great to be able to help people understand that they need a home-based business or that they need a product or a service. But if you don't allow them to have the ability to free up that money or teach them how to free up that money, then it's like talking to a brick wall. And so, what I focus on is finding people money, and I build an organization to help people do just that. I am a mom of six. I have my husband's a stay-at-home dad, and we have had this accounting practice here in Greer, South Carolina, for the last 6 years. But I've been an accountant. I've owned my own business, tried to do everything but accounting for a really long time, because I hated it. Like it was not fun to me, and it was always focused on money. And the when I fell in love with it was actually about 3 years ago, which is when the business started skyrocketing. But I realized that I had such a superpower to be able to take the things that I failed in. I failed in businesses. I've made wrong decisions. I've ran businesses in the dirt. I've also grown massive businesses. And so with that, it gives me a skill to help people and small business owners and medium-sized business owners, to help them just go at it at a different, I guess, at a different place, because I'm not just somebody who's just sitting down preparing a return and who's never been in true business, because I don't believe that most accountants actually understand what it really takes to go out and build a massive business. They typically sit in a cubicle, they prepare tax returns, and then one day they end up they start their own firm, and they take numerous of those clients from that traditional firm that they were at, and then they just start a business. And so that's what typically happens. And that's our focus is so much off of, I don't want to just prepare your tax return. I want to be your advocate. I want to stand alongside you. I want to help people understand that the network marketing industry is the greatest place on earth that you could possibly be, not just for making money, but also the ability to get the personal growth and development and the continuing education that you need. And then on top of that, the ability to free up $4,000 to $8,000 a year in taxes, which is what I have found by doing. I was my first network marketing company I started in 6 years ago. I saved someone $4,100 more than they'd ever gotten back on their taxes. And so that was just my really big eye opener to say, wow, okay, you know, this person had no clue all of the tax advantages that they could possibly take by having a home based business. And I opened their eyes up, and they ended up taking that information. They utilized the money that they saved, they used the product that they were involved in. And when they did that, they actually went out and hit the first rank of residual income in that company. And so, and that took 60 people in order to do that. So they were not successful at all prior. And then they used the product. They had the money freed up. And then I ended up doing over 900 tax returns in that company and realized that I could save the average person $4,000 to $8,000 a year by having a home-based business.
Amazing, simply amazing. And I'm assuming that that's why one of the things that you say is not how much money you make, but it's how much money you keep, right?
Yes, definitely. I mean, so at the end of the day, if W-2 employees, which I think probably maybe we can talk about that, but there are two tax systems in our country. There's a tax system that was created to provide wealth for you. That is the business owner tax system. And there's a tax system that was created to steal wealth away. So that tax system is the W-2 employee tax system. And the reason why is because business owners generate economy. We're out every single day working our little butts off, some of us working harder than others, and we are generating money back into the economy. And then what happens is that we're selling, and then we're pushing money back. We're spending money back in our business. And then the goal is, and the hope is, that Congress thinks that we will eventually hire employees, and those employees will then pay taxes. Well, if business owners paid the same amount in taxes as W-2 employees, there would be no W-2 employees. And so when you understand that, it all starts making sense. Like, you're either going to help yourself and your family, or you're going to help the community. And by helping the community, you're now getting access to more tax deductions, and you're saving more money because you're pushing money back into businesses and back into the economy. If you're keeping it in your pocket, you're going to end up paying more taxes on it. And so that's kind of what leads people into the fact that, do you want to be in the tax system that was created to steal wealth away? So if I make $100,000 a year as a W-2 employee, and I make $100,000 a year as a business owner, well, I'm going to pay far less in taxes, because as a W-2 employee, I get no deductions. I don't get to write off certain things, especially, like, you may say, well, I get to itemize deductions. 96% of Americans get no benefit from itemizing deductions, as opposed to a business owner. Every dollar that they're spending on growing their business, including things like meals, mileage, cell phone, internet, business use of home, all of those are now considered a tax deduction. So it's not like you're spending a lot more money. It's just now you have the ability to redirect your living expenses and turn those into business expenses by having a home-based business.
Well, so then my next question is, there's people that, everybody that is not in a network marketing business, it should probably be in a network marketing business of some sort. But for those that are in a network marketing business, but they think, well, I'm not really making money, I should, maybe I should just, things are, as with the situation, I want to call the thing that we're going through right now, with the situation that we have right now. Why should people not quit doing the network marketing business? Why would it cost more money? Because I love that example that you gave.
So I'll break it down to you this way. The average W-2 employee household in America is making $60,000 a year. So a family of four, two W-2 employees, they are paying on average of $14,000 a year in taxes. And then from that, what's left over is $46,000. That's considered their take-home pay. Well, $53,000 a year is the cost of living in America on average. So that means that a W-2 employee household is going in debt $7,000 a year to work 40 hours a week, 50 weeks a year, take 2 weeks paid vacation. And so here's the thing. That same person, which is the reason why I speak for the entire network marketing industry, is because I did over 900 tax returns in that industry in one company and showed that I could save the average person $4,000 to $8,000 a year by having a home-based business. And the reason why is because they're still spending meals, mileage, cell phone, internet, business use of home, travel. They have kids that they're paying for. They have continuing education sometimes. All of these things are not a tax deduction if you're a W-2 employee. So when you become a business owner or a W-2 employee with a home-based business, or you're a home-based business owner and your spouse is a W-2 employee, you can actually keep more of their money just by having a home-based business and attempting to earn an income. It's not about you making money, it's you attempted to earn an income. And so anything that's reasonable, right? And that allows you, okay, if you're in the area to earn an income, if you're attempting to earn an income either today or in the future and it's reasonable, then it's tax deductible for you. So, for me, it was having a conversation with someone when I was in network marketing. It was like, you can either spend $100 on you this month and grow your business, or you can give $400 to $700 a month to the IRS. Which one do you want to do? I mean, that's exactly what you're saying, because the minute you decide that you don't want to be in business anymore, now you owe more money in taxes. Now you can't write off your cell phone. Now you can't write off your laptop. Now you can't write off all the things that are in your office. Now you can't write off business use of your home. You don't get to write off a portion of your medical bills and your medical insurance if you set up an appropriate plan in place. You don't get to write off those things. Like for me, I hire my kids. I pay them $12,000 a year. That's $72,000 a year I don't have to pay taxes on. That is a $28,000 a year tax deduction, right? My swimming pool is a fringe benefit because I hired my kids and I allow them to swim in my swimming pool. So they're my employees. So that is a tax deduction. So all of the things that I want in life can be accomplished through having a home-based business, or me, now I have a traditional brick and mortar business, but for 9 years I worked from home. And I'll tell you one thing, like the sooner I can get back to working from home, the happier I will be. Like, now I have to work in an office only because like code enforcement showed up to my house last year and said I couldn't have 13 employees working out of my home. And I'm like, this is my house. Like, why are you here? And they're like, well, you can stay, but they have to leave. And I'm like, no, that doesn't seem fair to me. I mean, so, and everybody else is like, well, we want a legitimate business. A legitimate business is a business that you can work from home. You can spend time with your children, your spouse, and you can build a business and you can make money. That is a legitimate business. That is the smartest way to make business. Like at the end of the day, I wouldn't have $9,000 a month in rent, but I also, obviously, as I continue to grow, I needed employees. I understood I needed to get out of the home. But at the end of the day, a home-based business is where it's at, guys. Like there's nothing more valuable than being able to wake up every morning, go to work in your office, and when your children wake up, they can walk in there and love you and hug you. And there's no amount of money that you can make working for someone else that's going to ever provide that for you. So, and people, what's so crazy is people go after this big job. Like I'm gonna get a corporate job. It's going to pay me $250,000 a year, right? Well, one, there's very limited amount of those that exist in the world. And you just spend $100,000 to go to college in order to get that job. And then you realize, oh, this is not really my dream job. And the IRS just took $100,000 of my money. And I have clients who are making millions of dollars a month in the network marketing industry. Like it is amazing what is happening. And I will tell you because I have a good sense of everything that's going on in the world. I have clients in every single industry, and the network marketing industry is killing it. I mean, other than my accounting practice, like the network marketing industry would be the place to be. And, because there's the certainty of, if I wake up tomorrow and my governor decides to go crazy and shut down my state that I'm in, I can still work, and people are not freaking out. And so it gives them that sense of certainty that everything's going to be okay and I can continue to build my business. And that's why the network marketing industry is skyrocketing right now.
And I'm so glad that you said that because, as you know, I live in California, Orange County, and LA is pretty much shut down. And the other night, we were trying to find a place to dine in, or at least, go somewhere to eat. And the restaurants here are suffering tremendously. So that brings me to the next point, because there's 2 points that I wanna get from you. One is that, the company that I'm with, we do health and wellness and supplements and things like that, and we're about to bring travel as well. So when we think about travel, people say, I'm gonna wait until whatever to travel, right? But if they're doing, for me, it's going to be part of the services that I provide. It's going to be intellectual capital, right? It's going to be part of the business that I do. And even if I wasn't offering the travel service, but just the health and wellness, or the products and services, can you speak about that as to why people are missing out when they're not aligning themselves with network marketing? Because I'm thinking of people that may not see what you and I see, and they're business owners and they're doing well, but they don't have this other benefit of network marketing.
So, just home-based business in general, comparable to a brick and mortar business, obviously you can work it from home. So that's a huge deal. The other thing is the tax benefits. So having the ability to be able to write off commuting miles, because when you have a brick and mortar location, when you get in your car and drive to work, you're not supposed to write those miles off. So that could be substantial. When you have a home-based business and you get in your car, then everything's tax deductible as far as if it's for business purposes. The other thing is that business use of your home is a huge tax deduction as well. It's typically 3 to 5 grand a year. It could be even more if you're hosting events and things like that at your home. You can do what's called the Augusta loophole and write your house off 14 days a year. You can actually pay yourself rent 14 days a year as opposed to doing business use of home, and that's typically $6,000 or $7,000 a year in a deduction. Well, here's the thing: if you have a home-based business, then things like fringe benefits, your swimming pool, an athletic facility, a gym, a tennis court, all of those could be tax deductible because you have employees who you allow to live on work on your property, or go and they have that ability to have access to those amenities. And so that would be a fringe benefit and would be a tax deduction. You don't have the ability to write off a swimming pool if you have a brick and mortar business. You don't have the ability to write off business use of your home or commuting miles. And here's the thing: this is what I love about the network marketing industry. And the way I've built my business, obviously, I have built my entire structure almost like a network marketing industry, in that I travel all around the country. I just run my mouth and talk to people. Now I do a whole lot more than that, but like I feel like that's what I'd like to do, and eventually I will get there. But I can go to any country, I can go to any state, and I can go to numerous countries, and I can speak, and I can go meet people, prospects, and things like that. And so that's what I love about any sort of home-based business or network marketing, is because you have the ability. If I want to go to Hawaii, then I find somebody in Hawaii that I have a conversation with either before, during, or after my trip to Hawaii, and I could virtually write off a huge portion of my Hawaii trip. If I wanted to go to Alaska, you know, then I would find out someone who's going to be in Alaska, either on my upline, downline, sideline, crossline, or a prospect, and I would go to see them. I could fly there, and that my flight would be tax deductible. I could spend 4 hours and 1 second a day on building my business, and the rest of the day. And now, granted, that could be from 5 to 9 in the morning, right? You're building your business. It could be from 9 to 1, whenever you're 4 hours and 1 second a day that you're attempting to earn an income. Then the rest of the time you go have fun. You enjoy yourself. You do whatever you want to do. And that would be 100% tax deductible. And then you have things like events that come up. Obviously, continuing education events, personal growth and development. That's what shifted my entire accounting practice. In 2013, before network marketing, we were at $9,000 a year in accounting. That's what I made in 2013. And today we're, almost a $3 million a year accounting practice. And so when you understand, like, personal growth and development is what shifted everything for me. It's what got me to a place where I'm at today. Well, personal growth and development, if you are just into personal growth, like if you love Tony Robbins, that's great. But if you're a W-2 employee, you can't write it off. But if you're a business owner, it is a tax deduction because it's continuing education. And so that's what I see in the network marketing space. One, you have the ability to go be around the people that you enjoy being around with, like-minded individuals, people are going places. People are going to build you up. People are not going to attack you and knock you down. And then on top of that, not only is the continuing education tax deductible, but the travel surrounding it is a tax deduction. So you have the ability to be able to do the things that you want to do. And what I tell people, if you're really good about combining your personal life and your business life together, then it's even more tax deductions come into play. Like I'm only friends with people I do business with, or that are in this space. Like, but it works out perfect for me because everything is tax deductible. Like I'm not going to just go to lunch with my friend. My friend is a business owner. We're going to talk about business. And while we're talking about business, we get to write that off on our taxes. So it just makes sense. And you can't, as an accountant, if I was only in the state of South Carolina, then I can't go to Hawaii and say I'm trying to build a business in Hawaii. If I have a gym in New Jersey, I can't go to Texas and say that that was a tax deduction unless there was like some sort of event that was going on in that area that had to do with continuing education. So it just forces everything almost essentially for you to, if you are attempting to earn an income, and I will say that you have to be attempting to earn an income in order to take the tax deductions.
And I'm so glad you brought that up, because I know in another place you talked about it, because now you're a public speaker and you speak to a lot of time you speak to us in network marketing. So obviously you're a woman who likes to be kept, right? In terms of your nails, your hair, all of these things. Can you speak about that? Not just in terms of women, but men and women, in terms of all those things that people would never even think of, that those are write-offable. Because of network marketing, because of what you've chosen.
So with me being a speaker, obviously, and there's a difference between speaking and doing a presentation and speaking from stage. So the clothes that I were to wear, like the clothes I have on right now, that's not a tax deduction. I can't write that off unless it were for like an outfit that I bought, like an elaborate outfit that I was speaking at. So I know this year's been kind of crazy because people haven't bought, a lot of things, but if you are going to an event, let's say next year, the events are open. I just went to an event a couple weeks ago. I spoke live to 500 people in Miami, a network marketing event. And, I have special outfits that I wear specifically for stage. That's a 100% tax deduction for me. My shoes, my clothes, my nails, my hair, obviously I am on Zooms every single day. And like today, this is behind me. This is not my office, but this is like in a wide open space in my 6,000 square foot office here. But, I'm typically in my office is in front of me, and I am speaking all day long every day. And so everything around me is a tax deduction. Everything you see is a tax deduction because it helps with decoration. Just like the same thing with our clothes and hair and nails and makeup. If I stepped out in a pair of pajamas, I might feel comfortable, but I don't know that my audience is going to be like, Courtney, like she's really not, I don't know, she's accountant, like why is she doing this? So, you have that ability to be able to write off certain things that other people can't write off. Like, it, and you have to look at it kind of like it's a costume, right? So if you would wear a costume to an event, like if you're an actor, you would have a costume and you would wear that costume, and you wouldn't necessarily wear that costume out. Well, that would mean that would become a tax deduction, or like an evening gown or a cocktail dress that you would wear and buy for an event, that would be tax deductible. Obviously, because I speak so much, all of my hair, my nails, and my makeup are always tax deductible. And you can see how much makeup I have on today. I did not have a chance to go downstairs and put my makeup on. So we're good though. It has been a long day. I feel like it's been a long month. Like it's been the longest month ever because there's so many people that need so much help. And I think that's the one thing, Maria. It's like, I'm not doing this to make money anymore. People have to have this information. Like they have to have it. It is crucial. to me, it's life or death, because if you can't help people heal financially, then you are going nowhere with them. Like for me, my first company that I got involved in, my parents put the money on their credit card. I did not have the money. I had 6 children. I had no chance of making it. I had no clue what I was going to do, and I was in a really bad place mentally with because I lost my accounting practice 10 years ago. And I just couldn't get out of it. Like I wasn't in that place. And so when I was able to go and be involved in that company, I put 900 people in that company and I killed it. You know, made it to the top
Wow.
1%. And then I ended up leaving that company. I had some ethical issues that were going on and some issues with my upline, and I left. And, you know, I moved to a nutrition company at that point. But here's the thing I want you to understand, the average person, 46% of Americans don't have an extra $400 to their name.
Mhm.
And so you have to be able to help them free up money. That's why when people look at you and you're in the network marketing industry and they come back and they say, you know what, that's not legitimate, or I don't believe that, like, or you know what, you're in one of those things. Well, here's the thing. Let me just give you some feedback on what you should say if somebody says that to you. Oh, so you mean one of those things? What things exactly? Well, you know, it's one of those pyramids or whatever. Somebody, you know, crazy things that people say because they just don't know any better. And I think a lot of times they just say it because they don't know what to say, right? So it's like they're almost trying to understand it, but they don't know what to say, so they just say something awkward. And then typically network marketers get really upset. All that saying is they're not educated, right? So if somebody says that, you know, you come, what and what things? And let them answer. And then you just come back. No, it's one of these things. Let me explain it to you. It's a way for someone to save $4,000 to $8,000 a year in taxes for their family. It's a way for them to buy a product or service at wholesale versus retail. And it's a way for people to make some extra money. And then the only way that you can make extra money is that you have to help other people save $4,000 to $8,000 a year in taxes, help them buy a product or service at wholesale versus retail, and help them make some extra money. Last time I checked, I think that I'm doing exactly what I was put on this earth to do. I'm helping enough people get exactly what they want, so I will automatically get what I want. Zig Ziglar said that's the first step to success. And so when you understand that like this is the smartest thing that you could be in. Like, listen to me. Network marketing, I'm not saying it's perfect, right? They let crazy people in. There's crazy company in every business and in every industry. But what it does allow you to do is that if you're a hard worker, if you're willing to put in the time and the effort and the energy, then you can make millions and millions and millions of dollars. But you have to be willing to put in the time and the effort and energy. People like me, I came in and the first day I put in 13 people. Now, why did I do that? Because I had no other option, and I took it seriously, and I made the intent that I was going to make it regardless. And people betted on me, and they said, well, you know, if Courtney, anything Courtney does, she's going to kill it. I had 178 people on my team in 6 weeks, right? I massively grew that organization. The second company I got involved in the first day I hit the first rank of residual income. 5 days in, and I didn't take anybody from that old company. I want you to understand that. I went to new people, right? I just was committed. You know why I was committed? Because I was one of those people. I didn't have an extra $400 in my bank account. I had $428 when I decided to sign up for my second nutrition company or my second company. It was $421 to get started. I had $7 left over. My husband had $30 cash in his pocket. We had 6 children. He had no job. I had no accounting practice for at least 3 more months because it was October. So I wasn't going to start getting paid. I didn't have an accounting practice built up. I told everybody, like, look, I'm not going to do taxes next year. I'm going to be doing network marketing full time. So that wasn't the best way to go out and try to get new clients. So for me, there was no other option. It was, you're going to be homeless or you're going to figure this out. And I ended up making $4,000 my first month. I hit the 5th rank of residual income in that company the first month. And then we were making $7,000 a month by month 4. And so I love network marketing. The reason why I'm not in network marketing is that, one, somebody has to do this. And, somebody has to be on the outside telling you guys that, one, you've made the right decision. Somebody has to be here telling your team that they have made the right decision. Because, guys, like, I don't want you to be W-2 employees. I would love for my staff to not be W-2 employees. They learn so much every single day about not being a W-2 employee and why they don't want to be a W-2 employee. But by law, I have to pay them that way. And it's not fair because they end up paying more in taxes. And it really isn't fair. Like, I can show you that I can make $450,000 a year as a business owner, and I will get money back in taxes because of the amount of children that I have, compared to the amount of money that someone pays by making 60 grand a year. They're going to pay 14,000 in taxes, and I'm going to get back 10 grand. I made 450. Okay. So I want you to understand, I'm passionate about this because I see it. I see people suffering every single day. I know that the only possible way that you can come out of suffering is to help someone free up money in taxes, because it is the number one expense. When you combine food, clothing, and housing and transportation, add those all together, you'll pay more money in your lifetime on taxes than you will on all four of those expenses. So you have to help people free up the money. Why it's important? 46% of Americans don't have an extra $400 to their name. 69% of Americans don't have an extra $1,000 to their name. And the average W-2 employee household is going in debt $7,000 a year to work. That should be enough for you to step up and go out and share with everyone you know, love, and care about. You should be having this conversation with them, because, I mean, at the end of the day, to me, it's selfish. If you're not willing to have this conversation with people you love because you're scared to death about what they're going to say, or that it's not right for them, guys, what's not right about saving $4,000 to $8,000 a year guaranteed in tax savings? That's the first step to having a better life. Then, now that we've saved that money, now we can go on that vacation, or now we can feel like we're getting ahead. Whereas people are constantly getting further and further and further behind. So, it's never been a better time to go out and share this information with people. And people that were not interested last year, if you come at them at a different standpoint this year and say, look, I want to show you a way. Have you ever thought about the fact that it can save you $4,000 to $8,000 a year by having a home-based business? And they're like, no, because they have no clue. And then I want you to send them to my TEDx. Look up Courtney Epps TEDx. And when you go there, my TEDx is about 18 minutes long. And it is, why you'd be brain dead not on a home-based business. And that is probably the best speaking engagement I've ever done in my entire life. Like, I'm typically not very happy about my speaking. That one, I was on point that day. And, because I'm just so passionate, right now is a place where we've never been before. And it is crucial to find a home-based business. And now, granted, you may not be interested in the same thing that I'm interested in. It may be nutrition, it may be travel, it may be, hair care products, whatever it is. But we should all stand together and help each other. Like, look, teach people they need a home-based business. What are you passionate about? Let me help you find that. And if we all come together as network marketing leaders, as leaders in the industry to help bring these people in, it's like, that should be our focus, is what are you passionate about? What can we help you get involved in so that you can free up the money that you need to provide for your family, first and foremost?
This is what I love about being around you, is not only your energy, but the fact that it makes me be like, oh my gosh, I need to tell everybody more about what we're doing and why this is a better way for many of us. But one of the things that I want to just make, because I think that you speak really fast and you have a lot of content. So in case you miss what Courtney said, she makes nearly $500,000 a year. That's a lot of money in comparison to her employees that they have to pay a lot of taxes. She doesn't have to do that. That's huge.
Yeah. I mean, that was just comparing. So,
yes.
We're a $3 million company. a year, but that's, I'm looking at it right now. It's on the wall, but I did a training with them and I showed them, here is a person making 450 and here's a person making 60. So this is a business owner. Now I get to write off a Suburban. Now I get to write off. So I showed them where I was last year. And I showed, okay, I wrote off my swimming pool. I wrote off my Suburban. I hired my kids. I bought a Cadillac XT6. I decided to sign up to be a platinum partner with Tony Robbins. This year, I'm going to be a platinum lion with Tony Robbins. Like, why not? I want to go the next level and get to a point where I want to condense time, because to me, it's not, time is not money. Time is money. That's first and foremost. But to me, every 6 seconds, a child dies of malnutrition. My purpose in life is to stop that. So I need to get to people who can help me condense time so that I can figure out better ways to grow my business faster, whether that be online programs, memberships, books, all of those things. We need to do all of those things so we can get to a point where I can help eradicate childhood malnutrition. And that's the goal, is in 5 years to be a $2 billion company so that I can impact 6 million lives every day. We're at 14,000 a day today. I want to be at 6 million 5 years from now. And we're going to make that happen. Like, haven't gotten to the point that I know exactly how that's going to catapult, but I know where we are, where the trajectory is. And so I would much rather spend money on providing advanced immune support to children than I would spend it on taxes at the end of the day. So I took my money, right? And I had all these things that I spent my money on. There were things that I wanted and also needed in my life, but they're also a business deduction. And then what was left over, I was literally like at next to nothing. And then I have 6 kids. So you got the child tax credit, earned income credit, and then I'm actually getting a refund on money I didn't pay taxes on. Whereas someone who's making 60 grand a year is paying in 14,000 in taxes. So you just have to understand, like, guys, it's not like illegal. This is legal, moral, and ethical. This is the way the world works. I am pushing money. Guess what? When I bought the Cadillac, somebody else had to pay taxes on that Cadillac. So all I did was shift it. I went to the dealership. I gave them some money. Now they sold a Cadillac. Well, guess what? The IRS wants that to happen, because now I'm putting more money back into the economy. So not only did I move the money, I didn't have to pay taxes on it, but I bought a car. And now the Cadillac dealership is now going to pay taxes on the car. Do you see how that works? It's like right now, I told all my clients, like, the best thing you could do between now and the end of the year, and I'll tell you guys right now, the best thing you could do between now and the end of the year is pay the things that you're going to come up with anyway. Like in January, if you had rent, or if that is a tax deduction, right? So if you had your cell phone, if you have continuing education coming up, if you want to sign up for a business, if you let's say you had travel coming up for an event, pay for that stuff now so you can get the tax advantages right now. Well, and I was like, oh, well, you could pay your bill. Oh, goodness gracious. I wanted to send a stop sign to our clients and say, just stop. Like, you can't pay me before January the 1st. But all the clients are paying us all their bills because we send them out December 15th. So they're like, bam, 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 I'll just pay Courtney. Can we pay you in a year in advance? No, you cannot. Do not pay me a year in advance. So then that puts me in a predicament. So they saved money in taxes. Well, guess what? If I don't push it off to somebody else, I'm going to pay taxes on it this year. So all we're doing is moving money, and somebody's going to ultimately pay taxes on that $1, but it's not going to be us today. And as W-2 employees, you don't get that benefit, and you don't get to decide how much money you pay in taxes this year. I do, because I can spend money in order to save money in taxes. Now, granted, I don't want you to spend more money. Like if you're in the market to go buy a vehicle, and you want, like you want to buy a vehicle, not to save money in taxes necessarily, but if you want to buy a vehicle, well, you could do that between now and the end of the year. And if you own a business, you get at least a $10,000 tax deduction this year. If the vehicle's over 6,000 pounds and you buy that vehicle, then you could take up to 100% tax deduction based upon your business use percentage of that vehicle. And so, those are just some tidbits. One last thing I do want to share, because this is a big deal. If you guys are if you have been in network marketing, or if you've been in your business for a while, if you're making more than $12,000 a year in gross income, you need to get an LLC. And if you're making more than $12,000 a year in net income, you need to get an S corporation. And the reason why, or you need to treat your business as an S corporation. So you don't need to necessarily pay thousands of dollars for an S corp election or an S corporation. You need just an LLC. Typically costs a couple $100. We could help you do that. Then you would have an LLC treated as an S corp election. So it's just some paperwork, which is again like $250, but that allows you to bypass 80% of your self-employment taxes. So not on top of, you've got all of these business expenses that you get to write off. Let's say you made 100 grand, you had $50,000 worth of business expenses, you're left over with $50,000. Typically what W2 employees would consider FICA taxes is 7.65%. Well, when you're an employer and the employee, right? So you're literally paying what's called self-employment taxes. So you pay 7.65%, and then you have to match the 7.65% as if you're the employee and the employer. So typically, if you just have either a sole proprietorship, a partnership, or an LLC, then you have to pay self-employment taxes on the income, the net income that you make. So 50 grand, let's say we made 100 with 50,000 in deductions. What was left is 50 grand. You would have to pay 15.3% of that in self-employment taxes, which is $7,650. On top of, you'd also have to pay federal and state taxes if you lived in a state that had state taxes. Well, there's a way to bypass even that, right? So the way to bypass that is have an LLC that is then treated as an S corporation for tax purposes, and now you can bypass 80% of that money. So instead of paying $7,600, you're paying $1,500. That's a lot better, right? Which one you want to pay? So there are ways, as you continue to make more and more money as a business owner, there are ways to turn more and more of that money into either a tax deduction or to bypass taxes altogether. I am not about tax deferral. I am totally against retirement, anything that's tax deferred retirement. I am 100% again for tax elimination. And that's the way you do that is through having a business first and foremost, having a home-based business, which is even better, and being able to take the ability and force yourself to take your personal life, combine it with your business life so that you can get even greater tax deductions.
I could listen to you for hours. You know, you've often share a story about a couple where you end up realizing. Could you talk about that one? I think you know which one I'm talking about.
Can I drink some drink?
Yes, she's gonna be talking about the couple that once she looked at all their numbers, and it ended up being that she was better off. And just so that you guys are clear, what she's going to explain, she was better off not keeping the job. So Courtney's gonna tell us about that.
So I had a couple that came to me last year, and this was actually when I was still working from home, like last March 2019, and the husband made $85,000 a year, the wife made $55,000 a year. Combined, that was $140,000. So they wanted to know, because they just gotten a pay increase of 35 grand. I think they switched jobs or whatever. And they wanted to know how much money they were going to have to pay extra in taxes. So we determined that they were going to have to pay an additional $22,000 in taxes on the 35 grand. They were going to keep 13 of it. And I'm like, this is stupid. Like, I would be so livid if I was a W2 employee and somebody said, well, we're going to give you a $35,000 increase, but now you're only getting $1,000 extra a month, right? So while they were there, I said, you know what? I mean, how much money would you make or keep if you just like did away with one of those jobs? Like, let's keep the 85 grand. Let's do away with $55,000 a year, and let's see what that looks like. And so we determined that the $55,000 was only generating an additional $1,800 a month, or $22,000 a year. And I'm like, you would be better off. Let me just explain. Instead of paying $34,000 in taxes, right, and generating $1,800 a month. Now, granted, that is not $1,800 bring home. That is $1,800 that you have. Then you got to pay for lunches out. You got to pay for gas. Let's even talk about the drive time, like that you don't get paid for, which is absurd. Then you got after school care. right? I mean, you got all these things. You add all that stuff up and you are left with nothing, like almost nothing. You might be negative. And people think they're getting ahead this way. And see, I think that's why it's so important right now. 40% of every person who made under $40,000 a year in this country lost their job this year. So I mean, like you would have affected almost 50% of every, or half of every household in America. One person lost their job. So this is why it's important to not go back and get the job. So I sat down with them and I said, look, you would be better off making $1,000 a month doing anything in a home-based business. I don't care. You want to make jewelry. You want to sell. You want to do network marketing. You want to do affiliate marketing. You want to be a photographer. Find a way to make $1,000 a month. And guys, like, you may say that it's hard to make $1,000 extra a month. Not if you put your mind to it. Like, anybody can make $1,000 a month doing anything. Start up today. They can make it happen if they put in the time and the effort and the consistency. And so she would make $1,000 a month. I said, look, you have at least $25,000 worth of deductions on things you're already spending money on anyway. That's $12,000 a year you're making, $25,000 in deductions. That's $13,000 negative on paper. That negative $13,000 then offsets against her husband's income of $85,000. Now they're only paying taxes on $72,000, but then they have the standard deduction. So it's actually putting them in a much lower tax bracket by her not working, and he's paying less money in taxes on his money, on money they were going to spend anyway, but now becomes a tax savings, and they're better off. So I think that's the biggest thing. Like, and they talk about it all the time. It's the rat race. It's the vicious cycle that you get into when you become a W-2 employee, and you don't feel like you can get out of it, but you can. You just have to attempt. And, you know, am I saying quit cold turkey? No. What I'm saying is maybe you put in a weekend, like every weekend, until you build a business that you can walk away from your part-time job. Now, if you work for me, don't do that. Like, I need you to stay and work for me. Like, I need my W-2 employees. I need them. I still have one here working right now. So disregard. If you're my employee, I need you here because people like Maria need me. So I need you. And my daughter's here working as well. But that's the benefit of, you know, being in network marketing. That's the benefit of being able to have the ability to live a life that you want to live, but it takes time. I mean, it really does take time. And I'm not saying it's easy. It's not easy, but let me tell you what's not easy. Handling 3,000 clients every single day, running an office with 20 employees every single day, and making sure that every tax return review is reviewed, every tax return is taken care of. That, you know, there's a lot on my plate that it was a lot easier just to run my mouth. And that's all you have to do in the network marketing industry. I mean, really, let's face it, like, it's just running your mouth. It's just having conversations with people. It's harder for people who are introverts because they don't like to talk to people. But when you realize you're hurting people if you don't share with them this information, then it forces you to kind of step outside your comfort zone and at least give them that information. Give them the benefit of the doubt. Let them make the decision on their own. But you don't need them to join you. Like, you don't. You just need them to see the information for themselves. And so that's what I want. I think that's why I was so successful in network marketing, is because I was giving you valuable information that could save you, not only save your life, but it can save your marriage. I mean, it's the number one cause of divorce is money, right? I can show you how to free it up this second. So, and that's a valuable skill that you have. And so many people are just running through life. They don't know how to get ahead. They don't know what to do. They're suffering and suffering and suffering. And you could help stop that.
You know, and you hit on a critical point, because a lot of people, they have all these ideas, all these myths about what network marketing is. And what I tell everybody, network marketing, there's nothing hard about network marketing. Network marketing is just uncomfortable. I have to call people that I probably wouldn't want to call otherwise. I gotta do things that I wouldn't normally do. But network marketing is just uncomfortable.
Correct.
But before we start wrapping up, one of the things that I know that a lot of people are dying, as I'm scheduled to do with you, and everybody's asking me, because we were supposed to do this actually live, and people were looking forward to connecting with you for this strategy session. Can you talk a little bit about how you help people during the strategy session, and why this is critical? And then before you go into that, one of the other points that I wanted to make is that some of the people that are going to be hearing this are also people that are in the Tony Robbins of the world, the fanatics like myself. You spoke about the platinum membership.
Mm-hmm.
So all of those things are things that you were able to write off as well, right? Correct? Could you speak more on that real quick?
Yeah, I mean, so, for me last year, especially, I signed up to be a platinum partner. That was 85 grand. This year being a Lion is 150,000, but it's all 100% tax deductible because, what's included in that is coaching, right? It is marketing and advertising because you're going to events to meet people and growing your business. I mean, and you're getting around the top 1% of the world. You're paying to play, right? You're paying to be a part and be involved in those conversations that are going to end up skyrocketing your business. Because to me, like if I were just to follow the accounting industry, which grows at 7% a year, and I've grown 4,000% in 3 years, I would think that I'm doing an amazing job. But I'm not. Like I'm watching the network marketing industry. Like if they can do it, I can do it as well. So I am aligning myself to see what it's like to be in a different industry and take my business to the next level the exact same way. Because if you can do it, I can do it, right? I mean, if Tony Robbins can do it, I can do it. If Les Brown can do it, Courtney Epps can do it. If Eric Worre can do it, Courtney Epps can do it. And I guarantee you, I work harder. I mean, Tony Robbins is a hard worker. We are probably about tit for tat as far as work ethic. I'm sure on that level, but everything about it, the coaching, the advertising, the continuing education, those are all line items on a tax return. So they're all tax deductible. So you're getting that information and then you're getting to write it off. So that 85 grand wasn't 85 grand. It was like 40 and then on top of that, I went to Amsterdam last year. That was a tax deduction for me. I never would have gone to Amsterdam. I never even left this country before, other than, I went to the Bahamas, I went to Mexico. But like leaving this continent, that was super scary for me. But it was great because I ended up, I didn't have a phone service. Like I got to Europe, had no phone service, met somebody on the plane that was going to the event. And I'm like, hey, can I ride with you? And he's like, sure. So I'm like, okay, great. That's awesome. Yay. We're like a family now. And then, same thing. I went to Australia last year. I got to fly over the Great Barrier Reef. Grand Canyon, that would be super funny if the Grand Canyon was in Australia. The Great Barrier Reef, and that was all tax deductible for me because I'm growing my business online just like you guys are. Like I am marketing and showing my lifestyle every single day, and it is attracting the right people into my life. So I don't spend money on advertising. I don't need to. Like I've worked for the last 2 years and I build up a brand online so that people every single day, my calendar is booked. We have 70 to 100 tax strategy sessions every week that we are handling, that no one asked them to come and book a time with us. It's just like, here's some information. Courtney shows up to speak, and then people book tax strategy sessions. It's a wonderful thing. But I was at a place 2 years ago where it's like, this is never going to happen. Like, why is this not happening faster? So if you're in that cycle, just keep going and just keep doing it and stay consistent, and it will all work out for you. So that being said, the tax strategy session, what we do on that, it's $99. It is it's 30 minutes, and we typically find between $5,000 and $50,000 a year that you're overpaying in taxes. And so what we do is we go backwards. We look at your prior year tax returns. We look at your structure. We try to figure out, what did you miss in deductions? What could we help you find? And we tell you how much, like how much it could save you to go backwards. We tell you how much we would charge you to go backwards. You don't have to go backwards. You don't have to hire us. This is not a consultation. This is what you should do in our opinion, and this is how much it would cost us to do it if you wanted to do it. Now, the deductions are one, then we look at the structure and we tell you, look, we could go backwards and treat your LLC as an S corp election for tax purposes. We can go back 3 years and get all this money back that you overpaid. If you want us to do it, here's how much we charge. And then moving forward, what do we do to help you keep more of your hard-earned money? So that's literally the focus of a tax strategy session. I'll give and one of the things, Maria, I'll also give you is a link. I just did a 2.5-hour year-end tax webinar last night that I recorded, and I'll send that to you so you can upload that. There is on that one, just so you know, there is a year-end tax strategy, like a 20-minute for $59. If you don't watch the video, do not book on there, because that is 2.5 hours of content that I'm giving you, and I need you to watch that in order to book that 20-minute tax strategy session. Otherwise, you're going to be lost, and we're going to tell you, look, you got to book a 30-minute. Like, we got to have more time to explain this stuff to you. But if you want to watch that and book that time, there's also, and I'll send that to you as well, I have a text number. We're not going to spam you. The only time we're going to send you any information is going to be good stuff, like stuff you need to know, like educational content. But it is a text tax to a phone number, 855-949-1829. And if you'll do that, it'll ask for your name and email address. And then it's going to send you a link back, and it's going to give you a deduction spreadsheet that I've created. It'll give you access to my books. It'll give you access to our membership. It'll give you access to buy Hurdler, which is the software that we utilize for clients that are under $150,000 a year. It'll give you access to my TEDx is the first thing that's there, and it'll also give you access to all of my social media channels. So just a super easy way to find everything you want to know about Courtney Epps and OTB Tax, all in one little text message.
That's incredible, and you're amazing. And as you know, I know that we're at the hour, and I know that we're supposed to wrap it up. But if you could, I know that we went over this, but can you talk directly to the person that they're not making a gazillion dollars in network marketing? Everybody's bidding, like their mom, their dad. I was talking to one of my young students, and he was just like, look, my mom and my dad are telling me, just stop doing the nonsense and get a real job. I have a single mom that was homeless, is working 3 jobs, keeps getting laid off because of COVID. And her circle of friends are also saying, why don't you give up on that nonsense? Can you speak directly to them as we're closing this up?
Yep. So your friends are, and sadly enough, people, I think I'll give you an explanation. Crabs. If you put crabs in a bucket, and one of the crabs, see, the problem is the crabs will never leave the bucket. And the reason why is because one of them will get to a point where it is climbing up the side and it is making it, and the other crabs in the bucket will grab the crab and pull that crab back down. And, Matt Moore said, which you are aware well of him, is that the uncommon man loves other common men because they justify each other's averageness. So the common man loves other common men because they justify each other's averageness. And you need to keep that into account when you're listening to people, because I'm not in network marketing anymore, guys. Like, I'm telling you that if you don't find a way to have some sort of business, then you are not going to ever become financially free. Ever. Like, it's not ever. Okay. It's just the way it is. And our parents, a lot of times they tell us what they know. My parents, the system worked for them. My parents worked for my mom worked for the school district. She worked there for 28 years. She has a pension and she has a 401k. My dad worked for 38 years at Santee Cooper, which is a utility company, and for the government, state contract. And then he gets a pension and he has a 401k. And then he also had money that he put into a savings. Pensions don't exist anymore. Business owners, and I mean, I want to take care of my staff, but I know that 401k, 75% of the money that you earn in a 401k goes to the financial advisor that set up the 401k. So you cannot get ahead that way. And, you know, people tell me all the time, well, I got $1 million in my 401k. I remember my father-in-law was telling me that before he retired. And I was like, no, you don't. The IRS has 500,000 and you have 500,000. And then if you die and your wife now has to pay taxes on all that money the day that you die, and it goes into probate, and for 2 years she can't touch that money typically, right? So at the end of the day, no, that's not true. You don't have that money. Guess what? He went back to work 6 times. Every time they offered him a job, he went back to work. Every time, because he realized the minute that he quit work, he realized that the lie. He realized the lie that he had bought into for 30 years. And I'm not telling you that in any way people are trying to screw you over. It's just the way the system works, guys. Like a 401k was created by ERISA, and ERISA was created only to continue to keep money from baby boomers when they retired. So it was to force them to continue to pay taxes for the rest of their life, because why would you rather pay taxes on $10 today or $100 tomorrow? That's exactly what you're doing. And so there is no security, because the minute the stock market crashes, you lose all of the security you thought you had. And that's what I want people to understand. Like, there is nothing better than owning your own life and being in total control of where you are today. Does that take risk today? Yes. But you're going to take risk later, right? If you do not fix the problem today. 96% of Americans are dead broke, are in government or family support by the age of 65. Don't let that be you. Like, you cannot get ahead if you are constantly going backwards every single year after year after year after year. And most people don't have even the time to sit down and think about it. Like, I just look at our world this year, and I think this is probably the best time for people to wake up and just see, what am I really doing? Like, why am I not at home with my children? Why are they going to public school when I could be with them every single day? When I could have a job working from home and make more money than I ever could working for someone else? And see, I think we are getting to the cycle where the network marketing industry, the home-based business industry is going to be the industry that you want to be in. It's a massive industry. It's $178 billion. It's massive. I mean, it is. You could find anything that you want inside that industry, but yet you would rather, and I mean, I'm just speaking, preaching to the choir here, right? You would rather buy from Amazon than buy from your best friend or your sister or your brother or your family member who's struggling and they're trying to make it in this world. Like, really? Come on now. I mean, why? Why would you do that? Why would you give your money to a billionaire when you can help a family that have kids that need help and they need support? Like, don't you ever attack a single human being that's in the network marketing industry. I mean, I will be the first to tell you. I'll give you this example. I had this husband. He booked a tax strategy session, and he wanted me to pretty much tell him that his wife was wasting money by being in her network marketing business. Oh gosh, I was so excited. I mean, like, I'm still excited thinking about it. I was like, you know what? I said, let me tell you, because he made a lot of money. And he's like, my wife never makes any money. And she did make money. She was making like $30,000, $40,000 a year, which is great to start off with. But she showed a loss on paper. And I said, let me tell you how smart your wife is and how crazy it is that you would even say what you're doing. I said, one, and people say this all the time, I'm not making any, you're not making any money. On paper, that's exactly what I want it to look like. I don't want to make any money on paper. I want to make money. And then on paper, I want it to look like a loss. That makes sense. That's the smartest thing. So anyway, so he's like, you know, I just don't understand why she's in this network marketing company. It's costing me money, blah, blah, blah. So I went to looking at all the expenses and I'm like, look at here. Like her new car is a tax deduction. Your cell phone, your internet, you know, business use of home, the meals, the mileage, all of that is a tax deduction. Is your wife going to stop driving her car? Are you going to move out of your house? Are you going to turn off her cell phone or her internet when she decides not to be in this business? Well, no. Okay, then. So the last time I checked, if you look on your tax return, all the things that she spent money on, which granted, whether she was in this company or not, she was going to buy those products. So now that she's in the company, the products, because she's attempting to earn income, are now tax deductible, plus all of these other things that you were already going to spend anyway. And you just told me you were not getting rid of if she decided not to be in business. And now, because she shows a loss on paper, it's offsetting against your income. And now guess what? She didn't have to pay any money on her income. I think she's smarter than you. And he shut up like he had nothing else to say. And he ended up becoming my client. But, you know, that's the thing. It's like people just don't know. And it's our job to educate them. It's not our job to attack them. But, you know, you can tell that I'm very adamant about what I'm sharing with you. This is not like, here's my opinion, right? This is straight up facts. This year, March of 2020, I looked up the numbers on, what is it? Lord. I'll give it to you. But if you look up the numbers on, it's a government website and it tracks all of the debt. It tracks all of the Social Security. It tracks everyone who's on government support. It tracks all the VAs. It tracks everything. And it is constantly moving. Like the numbers, they're going so fast you can't even see the national debt going up. In March of this year, the national debt per citizen, per man, woman, and child, right? Every man, woman, and child in America was $67,000. Now, last time I checked, it was $82,000.
Per human.
For that's since March. So what is that, 9 months?
Right, yeah.
Every man, woman, and child now, it's gone up from $67,000 to $82,000.
Amazing. Well, you know, and now you have it, everybody. Courtney, I can't thank you enough because I know that you're back to back. You know, every minute matters, especially as you're closing down the year. You know, but if you haven't educated yourself, please reach out to me so that I can give you the contact information if you didn't grab it with Courtney, so that I can give you. I know that a lot of you wanted to do a strategy session. Make sure that you reach out to me. You can reach out to me through marialupita.org, just like my name is there, marialupita.org@gmail.com. If you're not already in a network marketing company, reach out to somebody that has reached out to you. If you like the product, evaluate it. There's 12 things that you should be looking for, but the main thing is that they have to have systems, that it has to be a good company, you know, and there's a few things that I can send to you if you send me an email, and I'll share with you the 12 things that you're looking for. Obviously, I'm also in network marketing. I would love to share what I have. But if you're already with a company, or you're already looking at a company, talk to them about what Courtney just shared with you. It is crucial for you to do what Courtney just shared with you. And lastly, I can't thank you enough, Courtney. You inspire me to not only do my job, which I should already be doing it, but take it to the next level, and also to go and help my team more, you know, especially when you spoke directly with them. So again, thank you so much. For those of you who are going to want to reach out to Courtney, please send me an email. I will send you all the information. Her book is also amazing, and a strategy session with her, you're gonna miss out if you don't do a strategy session with her.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So that website is usdebtclock.org.
Oh,
so
wow.
It will make you want to throw up. But you need to go there and you need to see where people are today. So if I go there right now, I guarantee you it's gone up even more. I checked it 2 months ago. It was at 82,000. It's now at $83,190. So it's very scary. We've got, 18 million people that are unemployed in this country. I mean, and the thing is that there's so much opportunity to help people get started. So don't allow someone to tell you that this is not for you. Maybe the company that you're a part of, maybe that's not the best place for you. But I want you to understand, like, typically it's not the company, it's typically you. Okay. Hard to comprehend. But, my business, I didn't understand why I wasn't growing at the rate I wanted to grow. And I showed up to a Tony Robbins event and I realized that I showed up to Business Mastery to grow my business. My business was not the problem. My mindset was the problem. So and it's funny, I get to see things like, because I do these tax strategy sessions, and most of the time the ones that I handle are over $1 million now, and I have a staff that handles the rest. But here's the thing, like, people are in the same company and they're like, oh my God, my business has grown 10 times this year. And then the next person will call and they're like, I'm going downhill. You know how the economy is. Like, no, I don't. Because the person I was just talking to and having a conversation with, they are skyrocketing. And it's because of your mindset is your problem. This is why you're not growing your business. It's not the company. It's not the product. It's you. Fix you. And then you can then grow your business. So that's the last thing I'll say on that. So I've got to go home and spend some time with my family. I've been on calls since 8:30 this morning, every 30 minutes. So I appreciate you guys having me here. And if I can do anything for you, get the free content from us. You'll find out really quickly, like, I don't want to do this stuff. I want to hire Courtney's firm to do it. That's why I give away free content, because it keeps bringing people right back. Because people don't do what we do here. And we didn't talk about the fact of us nourishing children, but I do want to say just one thing. Every dollar that you give us, even booking a tax strategy session, buying a book, online membership, all that good stuff, every dollar we are then providing a serving of advanced immune support to children in need, malnourished children, medically fragile children. And if you know anyone who is medically fragile, who needs some support, please reach out to me and I will be more than happy to fund them. Or maybe you could fund them and we could make sure that they're taken care of. But that's my heart, and that's what I'm trying to do. And then for every $150 that you spend with us, we provide fresh water for a person for a lifetime in Liberia right now, and then we'll move on to Guatemala. It costs $4.58 to provide water for a person for a lifetime. It costs $2 to provide advanced immune support to a child for a month. I mean, we are saving lives. Like, I just got to tell you, I'm super excited about it. But we are funding a study in Nigeria to end sickle cell disease, the suffering of sickle cell disease. So I can't say we're ending sickle cell disease because it's a genetic disease. But if you don't have the symptoms of sickle cell, if you're not dying by the age of 5, which the majority of them do, and you're not in excruciating pain for the rest of their life, or you're not required to have a blood transfusion or bleed out, then that's pretty much ending it, right? We're ending the suffering of it. And that's happening in 2 weeks. So we're funding a government-backed clinical trial in Nigeria to end the suffering of sickle cell disease. And once we prove it there in that country, then we will move it to the rest of the world. Obviously, it's easier to get. We've got a memorandum, MOU, and we have the ability to test the products that we're given to these children that have worked on over 800 diseases, to test any of those against any of the sicknesses and diseases that they have in Nigeria. And then when we have the proof there, we'll bring it to the United States. So that's my mission. That's what I want to do. Anything you can do to help us, do that, or just go directly. If you don't want to be my client, go to manarelief.org and donate some money to them, so that they're the only nonprofit in the entire world, the only one that provides whole food, plant-based nutrition and not synthetics. So even the WHO, unfortunately, they are required, any ready-to-use therapeutic foods, you're required to give a child a synthetic vitamin. And synthetic vitamins kill children. Their body can't handle and absorb the nutrients from it. So over time, like, you're ending them. You're not helping save them. So that's really why I'm here every single day. If you feel led to give, I had one of my clients today that is now giving 3% off the top of their gross income, just like we are. That's a tax deduction, and they're giving 3% off the top of every dollar they make now to the nonprofits that we're working with. So I'm super excited about that.
Courtney, as always, you are such an inspiration. If for whatever the reason you are making the excuse that right now you don't have the money, you don't have the means, or whatever the reason, just share this content so that Courtney's message can get out there, not just for network marketing, but saving the children. So if you think for whatever the reason you think that you can do the strategy session, or you can financially contribute, but it doesn't cost you anything to share this message. And lastly, in regards to, and I'm going to close it with this, in regards to what Courtney was saying, I'm going to close it with a quote from Peter Crone. Peter Crone says, people and circumstances are only a reflection of where you're still not free on. So whatever's showing up in your life, it goes exactly with what Courtney was saying. It's just, you're just not free in that, and that's really all you. So if you are still not free because certain people and circumstances are showing up in a certain way, work on yourself. And with that, peace, Maria Lupita, with amazing Courtney. I cannot thank you enough. Thank you so much for all your heart and for all that you're doing for the whole entire world.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Maria. Have an amazing night.
Thank you. You too, darling.